Welcome to episode number 10 of the SoCal series. And today there's a few tasks that need to be done, so let's take a look. The first one is over here, currently on track number 4 on the south departure yard here in Barstow. This train right here. And it's a cut that I pulled out of the bowl a few days ago, but I made a mistake. And we got cars, I thought it was all Kingman, but if you look here at the tagger, we got cars for Modesto, and we've also got cars for Barstow here. And the reason is because the hump controller doesn't have a designated track for BAR or actually for Kingman or Modesto right now, so it put them in the slough track, which is track number 1, and I wasn't paying attention. So what needs to be done here is all the cars for Kingman need to stay on track 4. And then the cars for Barstow and Modesto for now can be put on track number 6 here. And when you're done, you can leave these two locomotives on this Kingman cut. So you'll probably want to pull forward and just do some flat switching here and separate the cars for Kingman, keep them on this current track, and then send the other ones down here on track 6. Then over here in the Barstow Bowl on track 1, this slough track, we've got a complete cut of more Kingman cars, KNG. So these need to be pulled out of here, and they need to be combined with the cut of Kingman cars that we just, that you separated over here. So it hasn't been done yet here, but this train here, these Kingman cars, you're going to split out the Barstow and Modesto onto track 6 here. And then the rest of the Kingman cars will be on track 4, the track they're currently on. And then you got to pull this cut over here of Kingman cars and combine it with the other ones also on track 4 here. So we'll have one big train all tagged for Kingman, ready to head eastbound. And then the last thing that needs to be done is this Barstow to Bakersfield train. This is our first supply train out of Barstow heading to Bakersfield, and it needs to be guided into the yard onto track number 12. So you could see it's sitting right up here at Kern Junction. And I left this switch thrown here, this crossover, so that the dispatcher won't send them past Bakersfield Yard. So you got to work these manual switches, and you need to guide them into Bakersfield Yard. Let's zoom over there. And he needs to go right here on track number 12. All right, that's it. Let's get started with these jobs. Looks like we got a Richmond to Barstow supply train coming in to the yard. Now I need to go over to the south departure yard because I realized a issue. And this cut here that I pulled from the bowl, I actually pulled it from the slough track, which is track number 1, and I wasn't paying attention when I pulled it out and put it over here. I thought it was all cars tagged for Kingman, but actually we don't have a track in the hump bowl designated for Kingman, KNG, or Modesto. So those cars are actually going to track 1, the slough track, and getting it mixed in with the cars for Barstow, like Barstow Shop, Barstow Sand. So what I need to do here is just pull this cut out, and then I'm going to do some quick flat switching to get these going down separate tracks. As soon as I clear this switch here, then I can bring it to a stop, and then I can start doing some switching. All right, let's see if I can flip this switch. I should be able to click on. Oh wait, I gotta make it blue. Is that not the right one? Oh, I gotta do this one. There we go. And now I gotta see which cars need to go down which track. So these are all, there's a BAR there. So it looks like these last three are KNG. So I'll send the KNGs down track 3 here. Or no, this is track 4. And then I'll just have these roll on their own. So I'm just going to close both angle cocks and open the coupler. So now I can utilize this nice little slope down to the other end of the yard. That'll take these cars all the way down there. Because these Kingman cars are going to be departing from the east end anyway, so I want them down at that end. So now I can just stop, and then I'll have those go down. Although I might be going a little too fast. Wait a second, I already messed this up. This is supposed to go down the same... That was supposed to go with them, this last tanker. Oh boy. Also, if you hold down the shift key while closing the angle cocks up there in the menu, if you hit closed while holding shift, it'll automatically close both of them on both sides at the same time. So you don't have to click one coupler, hit close, then click the other coupler and hit closed. You just hold shift and it does both. So you can see here I got 3 different destinations here. I got Kingman, Arizona, I got Modesto, California mixed in here, and I've also got some that are supposed to stay here at the Barstow Yard. I should probably jump down to the other end here and make sure these are not pulling off the end of the track. Let's see where we're at. Oh, we're getting close. So I'm going to use the hand brakes and start slowing these down. I think that should probably be good there. We'll put some power over on this end. So I want to leave it. I don't want them going to the end of the track. Then I can dump the airs just to make sure that they're really locked in place. All right, let's see. Is everything else Kingman here? It is. So I can just send the rest of this train down the tracks. Down track 4 here. just want to slow these two down a little bit. I don't want to stop it yet because I want it to couple to the other cars, but it just seems like they're going a little bit too fast. Now I can just shut these locomotives down and put on the handbrakes, and then I'm just going to leave them here for now, and we'll move on to the next thing. It looks like track 1 is completely filled up again here, so I got to pull those out. And they're all Kingman again. So I'll have to pull them out, and then I will modify and add a Kingman track, a designated track to the hump configuration. So I'm just going to pull these out, and then I'm going to put them on the same Kingman track that we were just working on in the South Departure Yard, track 4. And then that should be enough for a full train to send on its way to Kingman. Could even be a little too long, I gotta check. I don't actually have to go too far with this one. I'm just gonna hit stop and have the AI slow him down right now because I've cleared this switch. Now I can back him in to track 4. Actually, I think I'll get these started back up. I probably should have just left them running. I didn't realize I'd be pulling this additional Kingman cut for this track, but I'll get these fired up because we're going to have to shove a little bit down the track so everything fits. I think that should probably be good right here. I got enough room to put some power on the front. This is going to be a decent sized train here. Now we've got our first supply train that came out of Barstow that from cars that we sent over the hump bowl, and it has arrived at Kern Junction up here in Bakersfield. So I got to guide it into the Bakersfield Yard manually. So that's what we're going to do now. All right, I got to flip this crossover switch, but it looks like it's not saying there's another train lined over it, but it doesn't look like there's a routing over it yet. So I'm probably just going to have to turn auto off here for a second so I can get them going. So I'll just flip them off. Flip them off? I don't want to insult them. I just want them to let me get this job done. All right, so now I can flip that and I can have this train clear the Kern Junction signal. So I'll give him a green. And as soon as he clears that signal, then I can flip that crossover over into the Bakersfield Yard. I think I'll just have them go all the way down to the end here on this last track. And then I just got to go to the other side and make sure that this switch is thrown against him so he doesn't go out the other end, this end of the yard. All right, let's drop in another container train going to Hobart, I think we'll do. So I got my spreadsheet up of train symbols for BNSF, and then I can just filter here. I'm going to do a search for Hobart, and there's Hobart Yard. So I'll just show all the train symbols going to Hobart, and I'm just going to pick one here. I think I'll do a Z train, the Z NYC to LAC 9, this one here. So over here on the left, I'll just type yes because it'll be en route, and then put a number 1 there, meaning this is the first time that I've dropped it in. And now in my AI traffic generation menu, I can go over to the Seligman, East Seligman Main 2 westbound, mixed intermodal, and then there's the Z NYC LAC. So I'll spawn this one in. And now I can go to AI status, and it should be here at the bottom. There it is. And then I'll transport over to it. Well, it looks like we got a bunch of reefer units. I guess that must be a mixed intermodal. They have containers and high priority refrigerated products. Back over here in Bakersfield, our supply train is making its way onto the track. I don't remember what track number this is. And now that he's in the yard, I can switch auto back to on, auto DS, and then I got to remember to flip those crossover switches too. I don't want to leave those. Now I can flip these back to straight so that we're not messing up the main lines. There we go. Now I'm over at Hobart Yard, and because we've got that mixed intermodal train coming in, I want to just make sure I got the tracks lined for him when he eventually, it's going to be many hours, but I want to make sure I got everything lined up. And it looks like these bear tables got filled up with cars for Alliance, Texas. Remember in an earlier episode, we put some bear tables over here. I think I'll have him go on this track, this empty track next to this other train. So I just got to make sure I got these switches lined up correctly. So I got to flip this one. And I forgot if auto sends him down this track or the one next. I forgot what happened last time, but yeah, does he come in on this one? Or the one just to the left? And then I think it was the one to the left, because then that gives you the option to cross him over or go straight. So I think he's going to come in this way. So I got to flip. I'll just flip these two just to be safe. Have him cross over here. And now he should go over to the right and down this track that I want him to go down right here. And then let's check the other end real quick and make sure that the switch is thrown against him. And that looks good. So let's head back over to Barstow and I'll fix the issue with the hump controller here. I just got to add a Kingman track and a Modesto track. I think I'll just use these overflow tracks. Maybe, I think I'll just, for now, I'll just try this, using this one. And let me know if any of you guys are playing on the Depot server, how do you use these overflow tracks? Because to my knowledge, there aren't any cars tagged with the word overflow, unless maybe you're manually doing it later. But if it's just the way it is here with overflow, like for example, is that supposed to be an overflow for the track next to it? Or is it just supposed to be when the person that's sending the train over looks at all the tags on the train first, checks the bowl, and then says, okay, I'm going to need an extra lane because we got a lot of STO, for example, and then they just change the overflow to STO at that time. I'm not sure, but if you guys know, let me know. I've been curious about that. And that'll wrap up episode number 10. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and we got a lot more work to do, so stay tuned.